iRacing has one feature that none of the other sim developers dare to copy, and it is single-handedly the best feature of iRacing. Those of you that watch the channel and are subscribers to the channel, you know what's coming up here, and you can preemptively click the like button 6 times, 10 times, 17 times, DQ. You can't watch the video now.
You are fucking slow. You are fucking slow.
That feature is, of course, voice chat, and I'm going to tell you why, if you don't like it, you should like it, how you can use voice chat to actually drive better and make your racing better, why it makes driving games better, and why personally I absolutely love it, and why is it not in every simulator now by default? What are you developers doing? Now, first, to address the voice chat haters there, I totally get it. I mute the chat in Counter-Strike, I mute the text messages and voice in Rocket League. If you have a real life, I mean, I don't obviously, but I can imagine what it's like if you've got a real life, a job and no free time. You'll probably want to come back, jump in your simulator and just enjoy racing without having to listen to noise in your ears. So I totally get it. However, there is a mute function. Therefore, if you get annoyed by it, you can mute it. Done. There you go. Fixed all the issues of voice chat for you. Secondly, a big complaint people get is that they don't like hearing other people shout at each other, hearing people shout at them, the emotion, the passion. They don't like that whilst they're driving. It puts them off a little bit. And it shouldn't put you off, because one of the big things in racing, unlike Counter-Strike or team-based games, is that you're mostly racing by yourself against everyone else. Which means if you are hearing someone have a bit of a breakdown on the voice chat, directed at other people or directed at you, it should fill you with a warm glow of joy and happiness, because if someone has reached over to push a chat button to then start screaming, they're not having as good a time at sim racing as you, are they? And they're probably not having a particularly good race, the race that you're in, against them. So they're basically, by them being on the voice chat, admitting that you're doing better than them, which should make you feel comfortable and happy that they're having a terrible time. This is the great thing with sim racing. Also, you can really relish the pain and suffering that they're experiencing, because for sure you've experienced that pain and suffering in previous races and stuff whilst playing iRacing. So you can be like, I can empathise with that suffering, but at least right now I'm not experiencing that pain. Something I like to call second-hand inverted nostalgia. Now, I used to play poker online quite a lot, and I think this aspect of driving and poker are really, really similar. So I'm terrible at poker. I'm even worse at poker than I am driving, so just think how bad I am. But the way I used to make money out of playing poker online, or the most successful games I ever had, was by identifying the players on the table that were the most emotional, often the most drunk, and Drunk Russian Hour was fantastic back in the day, but the most emotional players would be the ones that were the easiest to beat. They would be the easiest to manipulate by me playing in a certain way, and the easiest to manipulate by doing certain things that are going to be annoying to poker players. And driving is exactly the same, really, that being consistent and very precise is the crux of sim racing, and I think general driving as well, but especially sim racing because of how precise everything is. Someone that is going full tilt on a voice chat, having a crazy breakdown, even if they are in front of you, even if you're racing with them, they've not had a big crash, but they're behind you or something, and they're with you, and they're giving you jip on the microphone, well, they are not going to be as consistent as they could possibly be, and they're going to be way more likely to do stupid things, and they're also going to be way more likely to be able to be manipulated. So for example, someone's behind you, they're flashing their lights. That's another feature that's great. It's probably just one down from using the microphone. They're flashing their lights, they're using the microphone. Well, if you purposefully then overly aggressively defend them, or coast a tiny bit through a corner, or do stuff that's well within the rules and totally fine race driving, you know, you're not brake checking them or doing anything mental, but you then drive, maybe you just drive completely regimented and not in a come on pass me because I don't want to lose iRating type way, you know categorically that that's going to wind them up even more, and they're going to be even more susceptible to that. Whereas if you have someone that's behind you and they're not on the microphone, they're not flashing their lights, and they're dialed in and you can see they're keeping the space and everything, it's very hard for you to then take advantage of that to manipulate a certain result out of it. But the voice chat gives you a massive clue to the type of driver that's behind you, and also the sensibility of the driver behind you. The point of racing online against real people, a large part of that is the fact that you are racing against real people. And these types of dynamics just don't occur with AI, or if they do occur with AI, even if you had an AI that was actually responded to voice and stuff and was amazing advanced AI, you would still, in your mind, you'd be like, oh, it's AI, it doesn't count, it's not real. But when it's a real person in front, behind you, or in a race with you on voice chat, it makes it more real, it makes it more exciting, it makes it more passionate. And if you've even been to like go-karting or junior races, or you watch motorsport, you can see there's a lot of dynamics, interpersonal dynamics and psychology going on there between different drivers, and without voice chat, that is all completely erased from what is already a very sterile environment when it comes to racing simulators. So, you know, you really should just embrace it. iRacing is probably one of the best language learning tools ever created. So I was tempted to get a Duolingo account to learn some words in different languages, but since having iRacing, I haven't needed to. And I've managed to learn really selective specific words in Greek, Italian, Croatian. I've even learned American words I didn't know. I've learned British words I didn't know. And you're only ever going to get that from iRacing. No other context can you be sat in your house and be able to swear in 300 languages. What we like to do is we like to take the voice chat that we get in the game, sometimes directed at us and sometimes directed at other people, and then turn those into remixes, techno remixes, which again, no other simulator allows you to do that, offers you the ability to do that. And that to me is just giving so much value and joy. Now, if you want to listen to all our techno remixes, you can sign up to the Game of Muscle Patreon, and that's where we upload the remixes. So that's the iRacing Club Hits 2024 to 25 website. We'll put a link in the description. Now, I've left this to the end because normally our videos are positive at first and then negative at the end, but I kind of inverted this, although this video's been all over the place. I'm sure people will be angry either way, it's the internet. Lastly, there are loads of times where you actually just need to ask someone for help, even in a practice session, maybe before the race, or even in the race. There's times where you are like, oh, how much fuel? I mean, people like to ask that every single race, even with fixed setup, but how much fuel do you need? Have you got any tips? Or that was a really nice overtake. In fact, actually, one time I congratulated someone on doing a really good overtake, and they were so surprised that they crashed on the next corner. It wasn't my intention. They were just like, oh God, it's positivity. I'm voice chatting iRacing, and they died. So that's, again, you can choose how to use that. It's your choice. But yeah, it's really nice when you actually do have respectful driving and you're able to say to someone, awesome race, like celebrate and enjoy the positive moment. It doesn't have to all be negative. And in fairness to iRacing, and a lot of sim racing on lots of platforms, there is a lot of people that are just generally really nice people and just having a good time and want to share that good time with each other. And voice chat really does help facilitate that. So, yeah, it's absolutely insane that it's not a basic thing in all simulators. I would say, as a thing for iRacing, I would say having a quick mute button. So if someone's chatting, if there's one driver that's really annoying, like so let's say there's a live streamer that's doing an annoying intro to the race, the worst type of iRacer, what you need to have is a toggle mute button that specifically toggle mutes the current person that's talking. So again, if you ever play F4 on iRacing, there's a lot of 3-year-olds on there that will just be screaming constantly. But really, it's actually not the whole grid. It's like four drivers. And then if you could just, as soon as you hear that screaming, boop, and that's toggle muted that person, you never have to hear them again. That would be absolutely ideal, and I think that should be something all sims have. But yeah, you do need the mute functionality and a bind mute button, but as long as you've got that, I think you're pretty good to go. Now, I'm not saying that the iRacing way of doing voice chat where only one person can speak is the best way of doing it. I actually think that is actually quite a good way of doing it. And I'm not saying that there is just one way to do voice chat. Maybe some kind of proximity chat could be better, or the option of proximity chat. I don't know. I think there's a billion ways that you could do this that were really, really good, and maybe many ways to do it that are bad. But all in all, I think it should just be the norm that you have voice chat functionality in racing simulators that you can then mute if you don't want it at all. LMU Motorsport Games, what are you playing at? Kunos? What? Evo? Where, is it got voice chat in it? It should do. Microsoft? Oh, you don't make simulators. You just do. I don't know what you do. But, you know, come on, guys. Come on, developers. Make the dream happen. This is all about me wanting to make content and techno remixes. I need stuff that makes Sims a little bit more interesting than driving cars around and saying the same thing in every video. That's who wants to watch that constantly? We need drama. We need emotion. We need techno. So there you go, guys. What do you think? What do you think? We better get some good comments on this. If you are anti-voice chat, I want a really, really good, coherent, solid argument that's considered all my points. I expect that degree of effort from commenters on this channel. But until the next one, guys, we've got our thermos of tea here, and I hope you all have a great tree dinking season. Happy tree dinking, everyone. Take care, and goodbye.